Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Jaya Radha Madhava Jabihari Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu Gaur Hari ki ISKCON founder Srila Prabhupada ki Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Bhaktivedanta purports ki Srila Prabhupada ki all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga, sweet Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for coming. Welcome. You know, it's winter time now, and it's takes some effort to come. Most people stay in their beds or stay by the heaters, have to one to hot toddies, keep warm. But we'll keep warm by hearing Bhagavad Katha. Thank you. So the theme for tonight is the Lord Shiva saved the universe by drinking poison. You may be familiar with the story. This is the going back thousands of years ago. I'll just read the preamble to that and we'll read from the verse itself. The summary of the 7th chapter is as follows. As described in this chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, appearing in his incarnation as a tortoise, dove deep into the ocean to carry Mandara mountain on his back. At first, the churning of the ocean produced Kalakuta poison. Everyone feared this poison, but Lord Shiva satisfied them by drinking it, with the understanding that when the nectar was generated from the churning, they would shade equally. The demigods and the demons brought Vasuki to be used as a rope for the churning rod. By the expert arrangement of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demons held the snake near the mouth, whereas the demigods held the tail of this great snake. Then, with great endeavor, they began pulling the snake in both directions. Because the churning rod, Mandara mountain, was very heavy and was not held by any support in the water, it sank into the ocean. And in this way, the prowess of both the demons and the demigods was vanquished. The Supreme Personality of Godhead then appeared in the form of a tortoise and supported Mandara mountain on his back. Then the churning resumed with great force. As a result of the churning, a huge amount of poison was produced. The Prajapatis, seeing no one else to save them, approached Lord Shiva and offered him prayers full of truth. Lord Shiva is called Ashutosh because he is very pleased if one is a devotee. Therefore, he easily agreed to drink all the poison generated by the churning. The goddess Durga, Bhavani, the wife of Lord Shiva, was not at all disturbed when Lord Shiva agreed to drink the poison. But she knew Lord Shiva's prowess. Indeed, she expressed her pleasure at the agreement. Then Lord Shiva gathered the devastating poison, which was everywhere. He took it in his hand and drank it. After he drank the poison, his neck became bluish. That's how he got the name Nilakanta, another name for Lord Shiva. Nila means bluish, blue throat, because he held the poison up to here. After he drank the poison, his neck became bluish. A small quantity of the poison dropped from his hands to the ground, and it is because of that poison that there are poisonous snakes, scorpions, toxic plants, and other poisonous things in this world. So that is the preamble to this verse we're going to do now. It's a very wonderful verse. It is from the 8th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we'll read the Sanskrit of that verse. Tapyante lokatapena sadava prayato kina paramatmana taddi purusha adi atmana. Okay, we'll read the word for word. Tapyante, voluntarily suffer. Lokatapena, because of the suffering of people in general. Sadhava, saintly persons. Prayata, almost always. Janaha, such persons. Paramaharadhanam, the topmost method of worshipping. Tat, that activity. He, indeed, Purushasya, of the Supreme Person. Akhilahatmanaha, who is the super soul of everyone. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Here is an explanation of how those engaged in activities for the welfare of others are very quickly recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, 1868-1869, Yahidam paramam guhyam matbhakteshu abidasyasti nata tasman manusyesu kaschin me priya kritamaha. One who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees is most dear to me. No one can excel him in satisfying me by worship. There are different kinds of welfare activities in the material world, but the supreme welfare activity is the spreading of Krishna consciousness. Other welfare activities cannot be effective, for the laws of nature and the results of karma cannot be checked. It is by destiny or the laws of karma that one must suffer or enjoy. For instance, if one is given a court order, he must accept it, whether it brings suffering or profit. Similarly, everyone is under obligations to karma and its reactions. No one can change this. Therefore, the Shastra says, Tasya eva heto prayatetu kovido na labhyate yad brahmatam uparihadaha. Prabhupada quotes from the first canto, Bhagavatam. One should endeavor, the translation of that, he says, one should endeavor for that which is never obtained by wandering up and down the universe as a result of reactions of karma. What is that? One should endeavor to become Krishna conscious. If one tries to spread Krishna consciousness all over the world, he should be understood to be performing the best welfare activity. The Lord is automatically very pleased with him. If the Lord is pleased with him, what is left for him to achieve? If one has been recognized by the Lord, even if he does not ask the Lord for anything, the Lord who is within everyone supplies him whatever he wants. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satata yuktanam Tesham nitya yuktanam yoga shemam vaham aham. Again, as stated here, tapyanti lokatapena sadhava prayato janaha. The best welfare activity is raising people to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Since the conditioned souls are suffering only for want of Krishna consciousness, the Lord himself also comes to mitigate the suffering of humanity. Yada yada dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhayutanam adharmasya tadatmanam sijamam parichanaya sadhunam vinasaya tuduskritam dharma samstapanataya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharat and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I vent myself millennium after millennium. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 7 and 8. All the Shastras conclude, therefore, that spreading the Krishna conscious movement is the best welfare activity in the world because of the ultimate benefit this bestows upon people in general. The Lord very quickly recognizes such service performed by a devotee. Om Jnana Tivrindasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshunumalitam Jaina Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunath Anvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutedevi Pranamami Hari Pre Vanchakalpa Tarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vyahevacha Patitanam Pavinibhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama So Lord Shiva is described as in the Vedas, or by Vaishnavas is regarded as Vaishnavanum Yatha Shambhu. Vaishnavanum Yatha Shambhu. He is the topmost of Vaishnavas. Why is that? Why is he regarded as the topmost of all great personalities? Because of, like we see here, his compassion for the conditioned souls, for the fallen souls. He's giving shelter. Another name for Lord Shiva is Bhutanath. What's Bhut? He gives shelter even to the ghosts and spirits. They take shelter of him. So he's such magnanimous, isn't he? Gives shelter to the most fallen personalities. Bhutanath. So he got different names according to his pastimes. Ashutosh. He's easily pleased. Shambhu. So many names he has. But we see his mood is very, very like poverty stricken, isn't? Where does he hang out? In graveyards, bathed in ashes. He has no fixed abode. But those followers of Lord Shiva, they are very opulent. They are very opulent. Whereas those who worship Vishnu, Vishnu takes away all the... He says, when I favor somebody, I take away all the wealth and leave them destitute, for they have no other recourse but to surrender to me. So what would you want? Surrender to Krishna, or have all the wealth in the world and be stuck in this material world? So this is the Krishna, when he, therefore we see those worshippers of demigods, devas, they want opulence, they want material opulence. But they cannot see beyond that what will this opulence bring me? All the things in the world, they are temporary. They are temporary. We observe that, isn't? Whatever we don't take with us. We don't take anything with us. We come with nothing and we leave with nothing. So what is all this thing about accumulating? Where does it take you? Therefore Krishna, that's his mercy. That's his special mercy, and intelligent persons will see like that, isn't? That the Lord is favoring me, he's giving me all this suffering so that I can remember him more. I can remember him more. Like Kunti. Kunti is the mother of the Pandavas, isn't? And what they went through, isn't? The five Pandavas, the sons of Kunti, they went through so much trials and tribulations, isn't? Although they had Krishna on the side, Krishna was their blood family, how we allowed all these things to happen, all these atrocities. They were robbed of everything. Their wife was kidnapped and threatened and almost disrobed in public. Such atrocities were there. How did Krishna allow it? That was, people question like that. And Kunti, she's remembering these things. But she says, at that time I thought of you most. When I was in that situation, I was always thinking of you. So let those things come. Let calamities after calamities come. She was actually asking for those things. What will we ask for? He said, we will, when we get a big, lots of rain coming, we pray. When will the rain stop? Or some suffering comes, when will it stop? No. is the time we can always, the momentum to remember God at these times. Therefore she prayed like that, let these calamities come. Let them come. For when they're there, I always think of you. I always think of you. Yeah. So this is devotee of the Lord. He doesn't blame God for all whatever he's going through. He accepts it as is. His previous, whatever he did wrong, whatever he's facing in this lifetime, he's thinking of whatever he did in his previous lifetime. He's paying for it now. So he's acknowledging like that. I'm suffering now because of my past sinful reactions. Devotees will see like that. Or whatever he may. Devotees go through so many sicknesses also. It's not that we become devotees, we become exempt from cancer and heart problem. No, we have this material body. And material body is a bad bargain. It is a bad bargain, yeah. We have to contend with death, disease, old age, isn't it? And all the diseases. We cannot escape these things. Therefore, Prabhupada said, coming to the material world and get him, it's a bad bargain. But how to make the best use of a bad bargain is to give this life to Krishna. Give this life. You had so many lives. It's not your only life. You had so many lives. You came in different families, different bodies. And it's like a constant flux of going up and down, isn't it? Heaven and hell, up and down, this constant flux of conditioned life, isn't it? Samsara. Samsara means the cycle of birth and death. So coming to Krishna means we want to stop that. We want to stop this cycle of birth and death. No one can escape that. One who takes birth, Krishna is saying, is sure to die. But what is, this body is material. But within this body there is anti-material, the soul. And Krishna comes to protect that soul. Not the body, the soul. He preserves. Prabhupada quotes, I preserve what you have. He provides what we don't have and he preserves what we have. This is how he preserves our Krishna consciousness through the medium of in a spiritual nature. So when Krishna wants to come to the material world, he doesn't come to the material world, but he has to transform himself. This is how Lord Shiva comes. And this is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita. And they give a very nice analogy, like milk can turn to yogurt by a souring process of using some agent like, what? Yeah, lemon juice or tartaric acid. You can change the milk into yogurt. Like milk can change to yogurt, but yogurt cannot change back to milk. So that is there. So that is how they describe Lord Shiva's appearance in this. He is the father of the material world. And Durga Devi is the mother of this material world. And they are great servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Durga is, we know what she's carrying, this Trisul, isn't it? And this Trisul means it's three-pronged. Harihatmik, Haribautik, Haridevik. These are miseries of the material world, and she's plaguing us with it to make us see the real picture of this material world is such a miserable place. Dukkhalayam. Krishna is saying, Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. It's miserable, it is temporary. Not only this earth planet, but it says even right from the highest planet, Ha Brahma Bhuvana Loka, from the highest planet down to the lowest, the hellish planet, they all places of misery where death is going on. So even in the heavenly planets, the demigods also, although they live very long, they have to die. So even going there is futile. So Krishna doesn't want even to go to the highest. He wants us to go beyond that, where there's no birth and death. And that is the spiritual, that is Golok Vrindavan. Goloko Vrindavan. Yeah, that is the place we should, which we actually have some semblance of, because we coming from that spiritual nature. We are spiritual beings, every one of us. But when we come into the material body, we forget. The moment we take on a material body, it says it's an incompatible situation. It is incompatible. Therefore, the soul is entrapped, embodied. We speak of the embodied soul. That means it's trapped within this body and is taking the shape of this body. Whatever, male, female, dog, cat, they all souls. Snake, plant, they're all living entities. Yeah? Millions of living entities. So we can take any of these forms or bodies. Dehi means embody this body. So Lord Shiva is one of the 12 Mahajans. In this world, there is 12 great authorities. And this is mentioned by Yamaraj. You know who's Yamaraj? Yes, he's the Lord of Death. To his messengers, the Yamadutas, he's giving them, instructing them, don't go near these people, they are great. Don't go near the devotees. If you see them with tilak and if they're chanting Hare Krishna, don't interfere with them. Keep away from them. You go for those who are doing nonsense in the material world, who are sinful, criminals, you go for them. And you take the soul out, yank it out, and bring them to me to be judged. We know the pastime of Ajamil. Ajamil was actually a very Brahminical boy. He was very, very pious. And he would do all the puja, very, very dedicated. He would go in the forest and cut the flowers, and bring fruit, and offer, very, very dedicated. One day he saw a terrible scene. He saw a Sudra, a drunkard person, with a prostitute embracing. And he became very affected by that. And he could not get it out of his mind. Even as... So later he got married to a beautiful... But he could not get out of that his head, that woman that he saw that day. So somehow he made contact with this woman. She was like a prostitute. And by some, he left his good wife and he went after this prostitute. And he married her and he gave her many children. But to support his wife, he had to do very nefarious things. Gambling, cheating, so many kind of underhand things to support this woman. And the last child he had, he was almost like 78, in his 70s. The last child he had he called the child Narayan. Gave him a very nice name. So we have to be very careful what names we give our children. Not Elvis and Ringo. They don't have no meaning. Therefore, we thank our forefathers for giving us such wonderful names, although we may be embarrassed, isn't it? In school they call you all these, but these are all very pious names, very holy names. What was your name, Sugar? Huh? What it means? Okay. No, but they taught when they go, they actually the samskars of the Vedic culture is so wonderful that they followed samskars, they followed all these ceremonies, isn't it? Of marriage ceremony, the child, even before the child is born, there's a ceremony for that. Garbhadan, purification of the womb. They fast, the husband and wife, they fast, and they chant many rounds, Hare Krishna mantra. Prabhupada said marriage couples should chant 50 rounds before they think of having children. How many rounds? Yes, 50 rounds. That'll purify you from all your desires, material desires. Yeah. So Lord Shiva is one of the 12 Mahajans. Anybody knows of any other? Who? Prahlad, yes. Prahlad is the son of a demon, but he comes from a demon family, but he's a devotee. Prahlad, yes. No, not true. Pali Maharaj. Pali Maharaj is also a demon. He was on the side of the demons actually, asuras, and he gave. But somehow Vamana, you see this picture here. This dwarf Brahman, Vamana Dev. Vishnu took that form to cheat Bali for 3 pieces of land. And Bali gave him, he saw this child, 3 pieces, how much land can he take? He's such a small. So I said, all right. But we know what Vamana did, isn't it? First step, he crossed half the universe. The second step, he crossed the whole universe. He still had one more step. And said, Bali, you cheated me. You owe me one more step. And he had Bali arrested. And Bali pleaded. Bali offered his head on the feet of.
He also rejected his spiritual master.
Yes, anyway, that's another story. Sukracharya. Yeah, so Bali offered. So Bali is glorified for that because he offered everything. When one offers his head, means he offers everything. He surrenders himself completely. One of the 9 hungers of devotional service is that he offered everything to the Lord. He offered, therefore he's glorified like that. And in turn, the Lord gave him a planet called Sutala Loka. Yeah, Sutala Loka. So Bali Maharaj is very fortunate because he had this disposition to Brahmanas and the Lord, although he was from a demon family. Actually, Bali is the grandson of Prahlad. Yes. Who else? Yes?
Maharaj Janak.
Yes. Who is Janak? Janaka Maharaj?
Sita Devi's father.
Who?
Sita Devi's father.
Yeah, Ram's father-in-law. Sita Devi. That's how Sita got the name Janaki. Now the name for Sita is Janaki. Yes. Her father's name was King Janak. He's also one of the 12. Another one?
The 4 Kumaras.
The 4 Kumaras, yes, the sons of Brahma. The 4 Kumaras didn't want to get married. They wanted to stay like young boys. Is it celibate? And Brahma became very angry. And from that anger, he said, Lord Shiva appeared from his brow, from his mind. Lord Shiva, that's how Lord Shiva appeared. From the anger of Lord Brahma. So the four Kumaras, yes, who else?
Narad Muni,
Narada Muni, yes, the son of Brahma. Narad Muni is always traveling all over the universe. And he's a spiritual master also. He's a spiritual master of many great personalities. Who wrote the Ramayana? Valmiki, yes. Narad was his guru. Yes, Valmiki. Yes, another one?
Yamaraja,
Who?
Yamaraj,
Yamaraj, yeah, we mentioned yes, he's also. Yamaraj is one of the 12. Mahajan, Yena Gatasa. We must follow in the footsteps of these great Mahajans. Jana means people in general. Mahajan means great, great people. There's a great authorities that we should take shelter of by following the instructions. Like Lord Shiva is mentioned so many in the Bhagavatam. Very nice pastimes of Lord Shiva. Yeah. And Lord Shiva says a very interesting thing to Devi. At one time was thinking, are you God? Devi, his wife. And Lord Shiva is from the Padma Purana. He says, Aradhananam Sharveshu Vishnu Aradhanam Param Tasmat Parataram Devi Tadyanam Samachanam. He says, according to the Vedas, worship of demigods, we must worship the demigod. But higher than the worship is to worship Lord Vishnu. But higher than the worship of Lord Vishnu is those devotees of those things that are attached. Tadyanam. Those things that are attached to Lord Vishnu means the devotees of Lord Vishnu. Therefore Lord Shiva is glorified because he's a devotee. And what is Lord Shiva doing? We see him always under this tree. What is he doing? He's meditating on who? Sankashana. Isn't he? Got his Rudra beads. He's meditating. And he doesn't like to get disturbed. And people come to him for great boons. So very quickly, to get rid of them, he says, all right, but don't disturb me, I'm busy. I'm on a mission. So very quickly he gives them just to keep them happy. But sometimes he gives boons that he cannot retract. He gives boons to demons, some terrible boons. He gave one boon to one demon called Virkasura. Virkasura he wanted a boon that whoever head he touched will break into 1,000 pieces. The demons think of crazy things, isn't it? So he started to worship Lord Shiva in a very peculiar way. He would cut one piece of flesh every day and offer it on the oblation in the fire, sacrifice. One piece. And at one point he saw Lord Shiva not coming. Said, better I take my head off. So when he was about to take his head off, then Lord Shiva appeared. And Lord Shiva said, my dear so-and-so, son of so-and-so, in a very diplomatic way, says, you perform such austerities, what do you want? And he said, I want a boon like this, that whoever's head I touch. Actually, he was after Lord Shiva, because he wanted Lord Shiva's wife. Demons are very lusty. They want other people's wives. Isn't it? So, Lord Shiva, could sense there's some danger here. And he said, okay, he gave it. He gave him that boon. And then he had to run for his life. He was going all over the universe. Isn't it? And Brahma, he went to so many other places. Eventually ended up in Vaikuntha. And Vishnu saw the situation and he quickly transformed into a brahmachari. And he approached this demon and said, my dear son and so of so-and-so, you know, he says, you know, this Lord Shiva, nobody takes him seriously. No one takes him seriously. So he tricked him. He said, you know, what if we told you, let's see if it works. Take your hand and touch your head. And see. If it doesn't work, then you can kill him. You can call him a bogus yogi, bogey yogi, isn't it? A cheater, pretender, whatever. So this is why he tricked us. And then, moment this demon touched his head, what happened? Gangamaya Kichai. That was the hint. And Lord and Vishnu chastised. So don't ever give bones like this that you cannot retract. Therefore, the demigods like Brahma, they are not independent in giving boons. They are dependent. They are not independent. Because all this has to be sanctioned by the Supreme. And like Brahma is saying, Sarva Karana Karanam, he is the cause of all causes. He's describing this Ishvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigrahanadi Radhir Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. In the Brahma Samhita, he's describing the Supreme Person of Godhead, that he is Param. Although there are many controllers, but you are the Param, you are the Supreme Controller. There are many. All the demigods, they are controlling some aspect of this material world. And they are very responsible. Surya is there in charge of the sun, isn't? Indra is giving rain, Vayu is blowing the wind. Like that, there's millions of demigods. Even in your own body, there's demigods are your digestive system, you know this? Your bowel movement is all controlled by the demigods. Yes. But they are answerable to the Supreme. Like, you know, we understand in the hierarchy of a government, you see there's an executive head and there's ministers, isn't it? Minister of Justice, Minister of Finance, Minister of Foreign Affairs, like that. Isn't it? So many ministers in charge of some portfolio they have. So likewise, in a bigger scenario, the demigods also. There's millions of demigods. But they are answerable to, therefore Brahma is saying, Ishvara Parama Krishna. You are the Supreme Controller. You are the Supreme Controller. Although there are many controllers, and in the Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva is asserting, what is that verse? Although there are many incarnations, isn't it, of the Lord, but you are Krishnastu etachamsa kalapumsam, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So these authorities who are giving such, and we have to take shelter of these authorities. Otherwise, we believe everybody and anybody, any bogus person can come and mislead and cheat us. Therefore, we follow the revealed scriptures. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam Purana, Ishopanishad, like that. Chaitanya Charitamrita. These are all wonderful. They are the revealed scriptures that we can follow and live our life according to that. So Lord Shiva is showing selfless. And this is the duty of the spiritual master also. And we can also, in the same, take the life of Jesus. Jesus is also described as a Vaishnava. Why? Because he preached love of God and he paid the price. He was preaching love of God and they killed him for that. So any person who gives his life for the benefit of society, for the betterment of society in that way. And Prabhupada said there's so many welfare organizations, isn't there? The Salvation Army, there's so many different organizations. But the real welfare work is that person who can tell you, take you out of this, your ignorance, your agyan, your tumarandasya. What is that ignorance? That I don't know who I am, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know who is God. So somebody tells you about that, then he's the greatest welfare worker. Sarva Pakkara, one of the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava is the greatest welfare worker. Because he's selfless, he doesn't care about himself. He cares for the betterment of society, of people in general who are actually suffering. Not for want of food or want of, it is all temporary. We can be hungry today, or we can have no wealth today, but it's all about temporary. All these things are temporary. But what is our real suffering is we don't know who we are or where we're going. And that is real ignorance. When you come, especially in a human form of life, and you don't make inquiries, a Tato Brahma Gigyas, the Vedanta Sutras said one should make this inquiry about the absolute truth. Otherwise, this human form of life is a waste of time. Wasted life if you don't make that inquiry about the absolute truth. Brahma Gigyas. Every human being should make that inquiry. Animals cannot. They cannot. A dog cannot know that he's a dog or who is God or rationalize. Only in human life can we, see right and wrong and rationalize what is right, what is wrong. Only in this human form of life. So we get it here and waste it, not using it in its proper. Then the Lord is back. He will give you something. You will regress into lower species of life. That is there. That is the law of karma. If we don't come under the laws of, then we come under the laws of material nature, which the animals are all coming under. Isn't the animals? They live with instinct and carnal nature. And that's not the life of human beings. Human beings are more civilized. They are more evolved personalities. They can rationalize and think intelligently. So that is the goal of human life, is to realize that. Time?
114.
Okay. Okay, we didn't complete the 12 Mahajans, but anyway, Vyasdev is also one of them. Vyasdev who spoke this Bhagavatam. Yes. Bhishma, grandfather. Bhishma also great Mahajan. Bhishma. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Prabhupada.
We have time for a short question. Anybody has a question? Anybody? Say it out in please.
What?
Shiva destroyed Cupid and Padamya was born as Krishna's son.
Shiva. Yeah, there's pastime like that.
Just meditating. But he ended up becoming the Lord's son. And disturbing.
Yeah, it's in the Krishna book, that story.
Thank you so much. We have Guru Puja now.
Kapil Dev is another one.
Is it true that Lord Shiva was an incarnation, 11th incarnation
Oh?
of the Supreme Himself?
Yeah, the Rudras.
Yes.
Yeah, the Rudras. How many?
And after him followed was Lord Hanuman.
Sorry?
Lord Hanuman.
Then also in
Yes.
the plenary expansion
Yes.
of Shiva, yes.
Is that true?
Sankaracharya is also a plenary expansion. You heard of Sankaracharya? Yes, appeared in the 8th century. Sankaracharya is a plenary expansion of Lord Shiva. He came to spread Mayavad philosophy, to defeat Buddhism. At one time India was under rampant with Buddhist philosophy. And then Sankaracharya came to spread a kind of brand of Hinduism that drove Buddhism out of India to the overseas practiced in Tibet and outskirts of like that. Yeah. So Sankaracharya. But Sankaracharya was actually in his heart, he was a devotee. But his followers were not. They were Mayavads. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Haribol.